and welcome to Bingewatch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the editor-in-chief of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwen, writer on TV and Satellite Week, TV Times and What's on TV magazines. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday the 1st of May 2026, including an assassin and a prison transport officer literally locked together in a life or death situation in high-stakes Now TV thriller Prisoner, and the Spanish language adaptation of Isabel Allende's epic novel The House of the Spirits on Prime Video.
And we'll also check out Sheridan Smith, oh I do love Sheridan, and Michael Socha in gambling drama The Cage on BBC iPlayer, and Matthew Rhys in Apple TV's New England comedy horror Widow's Bay. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
Prime Video's period drama Young Sherlock, about a teenage Sherlock Holmes and his future nemesis James Moriarty, will return for a second series, and Guy Ritchie will direct the first episode. What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, it's been a long time coming, but the new ITV reality show, The Vardys, will follow former Leicester City FC striker Jamie and his wife Rebecca. Remember Wagatha Christie fame? How could you possibly forget it? I can bring you up to speed if you need to, Ian. Don't you worry. As they head for a new life abroad.
Wow. Can't wait. Well, a first-class selection this week. Really, really good stuff. We're going to start on Sky box sets and Now TV with a new drama called Prisoner, and here's a clip.
You'll be bringing a prisoner to London.
Who's this guy?
He worked as a contract killer for Pegasus. 47 confirmed kills. Your only job is to get Stone to court.
So this stars French actor Tahar Rahim, who was in The Serpent, which was a really good series, and Izuka Hoyle from Boiling Point. Okay, so it's written by Matt Charman, who wrote the spy film Bridge of Spies. Amber Todd is going back to work as a prison transport officer. So yeah, moving prisoners from one place to another. She's a young mum, and unexpectedly she's given the job of transporting this assassin, Tibor Stone, played by Rahim. The reason is that it's feared that his location has been leaked. So yes, at the National Crime Unit, you've got lovely Eddie Marsan, plays the director of operations. Yeah, so at the last minute, they want to move Tibor because he's a witness in an upcoming trial in which they're trying to put away the head of a powerful crime syndicate that Tibor used to do contract killings for. Pegasus, the organised crime gang, want to stop him testifying at all costs. So yes, of course, it all goes wrong. And the long and the short of it is, which is a great plot device, Amber and Tibor end up, when the sort of convoy is ambushed, it's very dramatic, it's great action scenes, incredible, very exciting. They end up handcuffed together and they're on the run, and another assassin is trying to hunt them down. Meanwhile, the authorities are trying to locate them as well and get this guy to trial. So it's nicely done, I've got to say, because Tibor is a real kind of he's a real cool character. Nothing phases him, but Amber is pretty resourceful as well. And initially, of course, they don't take to each other at all. There's an added factor in that, as well as being handcuffed together, he is also diabetic. So he needs regular injections. So yeah, I thought this was well written, really exciting, with great action sequences. And just, if you imagine that the challenges posed by the fact that these two lead characters are handcuffed together the whole time, it's well done. They're both great. Good cast. You've also got Catherine McCormack from Braveheart. She plays Eddie Marsan's boss. Yeah, so as well as the jeopardy of the two main characters, you've also got back at the crime unit, okay, who's the mole? So yeah, I really liked this. I thought it was, I watched the first 2 episodes. I thought it was great. What did you think, Hannah?
It shouldn't work, should it? 2 people handcuffed together being, it just shouldn't work. And yet it's completely action-packed and brilliant and enthused and energetic in every single way. And I actually, this isn't really my natural genre, I don't think, but I was pretty captivated pretty quickly. It's really, really nicely done. And as I say, if you've ever been sort of shackled together with anybody else, in one of those silly Christmas games or something like that, it doesn't take very long to be very irritated and find that, actually working together in the way that they're having to is really, really tricky. So and I really enjoyed what I've seen so far. And do you know what? Something a little bit different.
Over on BBC iPlayer, we have another new drama series. This one is called The Cage. And here's a clip.
It's busy tonight. How much we taking?
There's no way we'll get caught.
Absolutely no way on earth. I have got problems. We're going to be kicked out on the street.
I gamble a bit.
He's an addict. You should know that if you're his girlfriend.
I'm not his girlfriend.
All right, I am standing here. £9,000 down this month. Someone's robbing.
Yes, so we have got Sheridan Smith, who I'm just a huge fan of, and also Michael Socha. They team up as this cash-strapped Liverpool casino employees, and you go in the first episode. She looks quite different, Sheridan Smith, actually, in this, and I always think she's brilliant because she seems to work on the part before she takes it. She spends an awful lot of time understanding who she's representing in that script, and I think that's why she works so incredibly well in nearly everything she does, and such a diverse range of characters too, with a host of different accents. In this one, a Liverpudlian accent, and their exhaust is already kind of quite sort of what's the word? Not action packed, but it's pacey. The casinos have that pace, don't they? It's dark. There's no windows. There's alcohol. It kind of your heart's kind of racing straight away. And she works in there, and she's basically, along with her partner, skimming notes from the same work safe. So it becomes this sort of very high stakes heist drama. But it takes a little while to get to that point. So at the beginning, you see that Sheridan, who plays Leanne, she's a single mum. She works really hard. She just wants more. So whilst on the one hand, she's doing something she shouldn't be doing, it's one of those situations where you sort of almost feel, I want her to get away with it, because she's doing it because she wants to look after everybody around her. Her family is everything. So her mum's recently died. Her grandma has dementia. She's taking care of the whole family, and she's not a bad person. So you sort of go straight into the opening scenes of being in the casino. Then you see quite a dark moment where she drives to the top of a car park, and kind of question what she's going to do. She just screams. She's at the end of her tether. Someone checks if she's okay. She's yeah, I'm okay, but she's clearly not. So you've got all those sort of high stakes drama. Two people trying to get away with something that they shouldn't. At the same time, you've got that lovely separate part, which is Sheridan and her family and the soft side and wanting her to get away with it. And I think they play this really, really well. Matty, played by Socha, he's also facing financial struggles. He's the casino manager. He's trying to maintain a relationship with his teenage daughter. And there's massive ups and downs to his story. So again, there's lots of depth, lots of layers to this. It's really, I think, beautifully written. And the characters are massively brought to life. These characters are completely flawed, and yet they are completely brought to life by these people. So massive thumbs up from me, unsurprisingly, mainly because Sheridan Smith is in it. What did you think, Ian?
I really liked it. Yeah, big Sheridan Smith fan like yourself. And I also really like Michael Socha. He's great. He's got this real kind of hangdog demeanour, hasn't he? And yeah, it's from the creator of The Responder, which Martin Freeman was in. And casinos, I mean, they're supposed to be glamorous, aren't they? But they're actually really depressing places. And so you'd think if it's about kind of, you know, people stealing from a casino, you're kind of expecting, you know, well, I mean, there is some high stakes drama in it, but it's also got a real kind of, it's really tackling some social issues at the same time, because Matty is, yeah, he's addicted to gambling. He's got a sort of complex relationship with his former partner, who's the mother of his teenage daughter. I think that relationship between the father and the daughter is really well portrayed. And meanwhile, as you say, Leanne is facing, you know, potentially homelessness because she's going to get kicked out of Nan's council house if Nan passes away or goes into her home. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. And Sheridan Smith is very good at playing someone who's just about keeping her head above water. You know, just she's still getting everything done, looking after the Nan, and yes, working as well. And Matty, his life is just kind of he's a decent guy, but he's got a serious gambling problem, and things are just spiraling. And so yeah, they both find themselves in this situation where there only seems to be one way out. You've also got, of course, Lewis Emmerich from Brookside. He plays the guy that Matty borrows money from. Yeah, it's just really well done, and The Responder was very, very good, really acclaimed, and this is up there as well. Over on Prime Video, we have yet another new drama series called The House of the Spirits, but there isn't a clip from this one because it's in Spanish with subtitles, so I don't think a clip would do much for our listeners. So we had Like Water for Chocolate recently, an adaptation of that, which was a sort of sprawling, magic, realist South American family saga. And now we have The House of the Spirits, which is based on Isabel Allende's 1982 novel. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. And we start in the 1970s. This young woman called Alba finds her grandmother's diaries. The grandmother's called Clara. And the grandmother started writing things down. Clara has psychic powers, and she started kind of keeping these diaries from quite a young age. So we flash back to when she was 10 years old. Okay, the young Clara is played by Francesca Turco, and she's got a beautiful older sister called Rosa, played by Chiara Paravicini. And yeah, I'm not going to say what happens. I think it's better to let it unfold. But yeah, there is a family tragedy, and yeah, as with Like Water for Chocolate, there was sort of some complex relationships between siblings and lovers and so on. So there are similarities. I was in floods of tears watching this story of this poor little girl who's traumatized by a family tragedy. So yeah, I think it's a really strong start. It was previously made into a film, actually, starring Meryl Streep and Jeremy Irons. But I do think, if you enjoyed Like Water for Chocolate, you will definitely enjoy this. I think it's fabulous. And it's incredibly moving as well. And it looks absolutely beautiful. And it's got that lovely magical realist element as well. Did you like this, Hannah?
I did. I've only got one criticism. I do not like subtitles. I mean, the kids all have subtitles up, even when it's English speaking. It's just the thing you do these days, apparently, to be down with the kids. And of course, that isn't the reason for them being here. But I sometimes find that quite distracting. But that is the nature of the beast of this. I understand that. So that aside, and getting over that. As you say, it's beautiful, and yeah, you need a big box of tissues, frankly. Just seeing somebody struggle, a little person, you know, struggling, the trauma, everything that they've been through. It's incredibly authentic. We use that bandy that word around a lot, don't we? But actually, so much is not authentic these days. So much is so disingenuous. But this really, really. You feel when you watch it, and that doesn't happen very often. You are transported to that moment, and I always say this: it's one that you need to sit down and watch. You know, you need to obviously the subtitles, but you need to be in it to understand it, to kind of it's deep, isn't it? That's the point. It's very deep. It's very beautiful. And as you say, if you like Water for Chocolate, then you'll like this. It's good.
Well, we're going to finish with something rather different over on Apple TV. It's a horror comedy called Widow's Bay. And here's a clip.
There is something about these seafaring towns. The superstitions, their tall tales. I find it charming myself. What town doesn't have a checkered past?
Was there cannibalism?
No.
Yes. It's not even horror movie time, is it, or anything? But yeah, here we go. This is quite creepy, actually. It really is creepy. And Apple TV doesn't do things by halves, as we know. And this really is quite dramatic, perhaps a little bit less believable at times and less credible. But if you've got that sort of sixth sense, that sort of, you know, unsure about what else lies beyond us humans, you know, you'll enjoy this. So Welsh actor Matthew Rhys, he plays the mayor Tom Loftus, and he wants to turn this New England island town into this big tourist destination. He wants to get people anywhere, and he wants to, you know, I suppose make some money for it, really. He wants to build it up and make it brilliant, and he wants to shout it from the rooftops. But they're very, very superstitious, the residents of Widow's Bay, and they think that the town's very quaint kind of appeal is actually nothing like it. It's dark forces at work, and there's lots of nasty things, and nothing but bad will come to you, you know, when you're there. And that they're completely sure that if you would start to bring outsiders in, that these otherworldly creatures will do terrible, dastardly things to them. And there's one local conspiracy theorist, Wick, and he just begs the mayor not to bring anyone in, but determined as he is, he's got some journalists involved, wants to prove to them that it's absolutely brilliant, that this one journalist from the New York Times wants to show him that this is amazing, you need to write about it, it's incredible. But soon you realise there is the dark arts at play, and that there are horrible things, and it makes you jump. There's a lot of brilliant music that's very, you know something's going to happen, it's going to make you jump. And I think it's really well done. I mean, Apple TV is notoriously good at pulling off things like this.
Yeah, Matthew Rhys. I mean, he's having a great career over there in the States, isn't he? But I don't think I've seen him in a comedy before, and he's brilliant in this. It's slightly, in a weird way, it slightly reminded me of sort of the premise of Jaws. So in Jaws, the kind of local officials want the tourists to keep coming to Amity, even though, and they're saying, no, there isn't a killer shark, you know. And in this, Matthew Rhys playing the mayor, yeah, as you say, he's got this journalist over to kind of, to say this is the new Hamptons or the new Martha's Vineyard. It could be an amazing holiday destination. But, and yes, of course, when the guy arrives, he arrives unexpectedly early, this journalist, and he goes to look around the sort of local museum, and in there's all these exhibits about witches and cannibalism and things like that. So yeah, it's basically the mayor is kind of, he's desperate for things to go smoothly, but he's surrounded by all these kind of eccentric local characters who are kind of quite hard to manage. And I thought it was really funny. He's almost like a sort of Basil Fawlty-esque character in that, like, things are just conspiring against him and he's sort of losing control of the situation and getting increasingly manic. So you don't really get the scary stuff yet in episode 1, but clearly there's this fog descends and something terrible is supposed to happen when the fog comes down. And yes, you do. There is one quite scary scene in episode 1. So yeah, I just thought this was very original. It's by I think the writer of Parks and Recreation, and Matthew Rhys is just so good in it. It's delightful.
It's funny, isn't it, when you've got this sort of fear factor and comedy. They're like two genres that just shouldn't work together, but it's really difficult, but it works.
Yeah. Well, we've got to that time, young Hannah Maladio, where we find out what the hell you've been binge watching.
I obviously had to watch a lot of the marathon, because don't you think this year was just so much joy? I don't know whether I was just more engaged with it this year or not. I'm not sure. But like the stories and that chap running with a fridge on his back, and just, it's incredible. And it just sort of seems to, at a time when everything's a bit negative, it just seemed to bring out the best in people and that real community spirit, which was lovely to see. And I thoroughly perked me up. And also, I started to watch the Alan and Amanda's Greek job again, because I just want to be on holiday. How about you?
Well, speaking of Alan, of course, Interior Design Masters is back. So yeah, I've been watching that. And MasterChef with the two new female presenters, and jolly good they are too. Really enjoying it. Now we've just got time to look ahead to next week's offering. So what is on the agenda, Brenda?
Well, Steve Coogan will be starring in a 1990s fact-based Netflix thriller about the war on drugs from the creator of Guilt.
Yes, I loved Guilt. And great duo this, Greg McHugh and Gregor Fisher of Rabsy Nesbitt fame are back together in a second series of the father and son comedy Only Child on BBC iPlayer. So we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, dear listeners,
Watching